And now it's my honor to welcome Mrs. Stina Andersson from Sweden. She's an Ayurvedic lifestyle consultant and Ayurvedic educator, Vice President of the Ayurvedic Sweden Association and Director of Sweden's oldest Ayurvedic school. She will present how traditional plant medicine can support healing. So please welcome. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here. And as my friend Professor Madan would say, the future decides the present. And just when I was thinking about it, you were just coming here. So thank you for being here. And thank all of you who are here today. Have you ever wondered about who you are and why you are here? I guess this is the question that brought me here. And this is the question that I've been bringing into my life ever since I was a child. But when we start to ask ourselves who we are, it happens that you also ask the question about where did it all started. And I think we all are familiar with some cultural knowledge about how the creation started. And this is the myths from the ancient practice of where I come from. So we can read it together or not. But if I read just the first strophe, I just want to do this because this says so much about the creation and how everything came into being. Hear me, all ye holy kindreds, greater and lesser, sons of Heimdall, though all father, will that I tell ancient tales, the earliest I remember. So this is from the Norse mythology, and this is the Vala, who will explain. It's a prophecy of how the world came into being. And when we look in all ancient cultures, we have all the same explanations of how the creation started. It's all about the Panchamahabhutas, the 5 great elements. And it is explained in different cultures from different perspectives. So I just put here from the Rig Veda versus Eddan, which Eddan is the Norse mythology. And what I have found is that we have different explanation of how the human and how the universe was made from the blood and from the oceans and everything. So I just wanted to show you that it is here and it is in every culture. I will talk about something different, but it comes back to this subject of who we are and why we are here. So how does this relate to me? Well, seeking the answers of who I am and why I'm here, it's led me to questions like, who am I, of course? And I'm not the only one who's been thinking about this. This is John of the Cross. He used to be a Spanish priest, and he was called as the mystical doctor. He said something that we can, or I can relate to in this journey of healing. We have to understand that we need to deal with our ancestral memories inside our bodies because it's stored in our DNA, isn't it? So while asking questions, we sometimes come to a deeper understanding of who we are, but mostly to understand who we are, at least that is my experience, I need to deal with all my traumas, and not only my traumas, but also from my ancestors. So this is when we bring this fantastic shamanic practice into our lives, or I did at least. I thought this was a shortcut, but I understood that the shamanic perspective of the world, it's a little bit different in how our understanding is. I think one of the main things is that time is circular. So time is not a linear happening, it is circular. And for me to understand it, it's impossible because I have a mind and I have an ego. They are also talking about the 4 great elements, as we know from each culture. And they are healers. And the shamanic people are protectors of the world, and they are protectors of the ayahuascas that I will talk about. And they go exactly to the root cause of the problem. So the shamanic practice sees the world as when someone has a trauma, it is stored in the body. And when the trauma needs to be released, we need to make, how can I say, to separate the issue from the emotions. And from my practice in Ayurveda, I have experienced that this is also done in the Ayurvedic procedures when we go to marma therapy. But it's just so fun to see how things are connected. So ayahuasca is a plant medicine that is brewed in the forest. It contains DMT, and DMT is considered as the spirit molecule. So the aim and the goal of ayahuasca is to understand who we are and where we come from. And to do that, we need to raise in our consciousness, and this is when the DMT molecule comes in. So if you want to know how it acts on your psychology and the serotonin receptors, that's how they say. So the research say that, well, this is just a way to increase the chemical in your brain, and yeah, that's also happening. So the potential of ayahuasca is fantastic. It's usually a brew in containing 2 different, but usually more, different plants. And they work in different ways. So the one has to come with other, because if DMT would be, if only one plant would be used, then the DMT would be digested in your digestive tract, of course, and it wouldn't be able to pass the blood-brain barrier. So that's why we need the compound of the 2 different herbs. And usually it is used, more herbs are also used. So ayahuasca is it's a brew that you take orally, and then you wait until things are starting to happening. And I think if there's someone who is curious about what will happen, well, I will talk a little bit about my experience. The research said there's all these fantastic antidepressive, anti-addictive effect. It's good for PTSD and borderline disorders and Parkinson's. So the research says it has so many things to offer us, but we need to be very, very careful. And so this is also some research if you're interested in learning more. It is not legal yet, but it will probably be. So in some countries, in Australia, it now is given. And I think there is not ayahuasca itself, but magic mushrooms. There's therapists going to Netherlands in Europe to make it's like a ceremony, giving the magic mushrooms and to see the effect. But the traditional effect of ayahuasca, that is what I have experienced. And the setting is the most important thing. So it has to be a real ceremony that is done by shamanic people. Because the shamanic people, it's so important. They are the protectors of the medicine. And we call the medicine as the grandmother ayahuasca because it's a she. And what the grandmother teaches us, I guess you know, it's not always coming with a kindness and hugs. It can be quite rough. But from my understanding, it's when you enter into the deeper consciousness, then you can really heal. And so I was in a setting, or I have been doing it several times, but one of the settings that I will talk about a little bit more today is about how we can relate to the emotional language inside of us, as we heard before. And I think it's so beautiful how everything connects here. So if we don't heal our trauma, it will be very difficult for us to be good healers. And I think that all of us want to be good healers. And then we need to work within ourselves, in our own bodies, to understand what is causing my psychological imbalance or whatever it could be. I didn't really have that much insight of that I was into a trauma also, but it's more an ancestral trauma. So it's more about not being seen, not being heard, not being listened to in the way of practicing medicine. And when I did the ayahuasca ceremony, the first thing that happens is that you have to go through all emotion and all traumas, for me at least, that could be stored in the body. It could be memories from the past where I remembered my horses as a child, or my mom disappeared in the store when I was little. So it's just some very, very easy things that actually can create a trauma in the child. And my experience was that I had to go through and to see everything in my life that happened. And that's when we divide time by space to see what happened and be there as a witness. And when we are there as a witness, we kind of release the trauma. And that is what psychiatrists today do. They see what is happening. And the shamanic people, they knew this. They knew that only being present, being there as a witness, that's the whole secret. So when we have the witness in ourselves and with the help of the ayahuasca, then the healing can happen. And for me, I understood things after doing that. It's kind of that you reach, or I reached another consciousness, and that was done by understanding how the breath works. So we inhale, and there's a pause, and we exhale, and there's a pause. And then it happens. So what happens in that moment is what I guess some people of you who meditate a lot do experience. And I, with my huge ego, am not always able to go into that silence. But with the help of the medicine, it really changed things in me. And I understood how the breath works. And Professor Madan, he told me once that, Stina, there's only one Upanishad you need to learn. You just need to learn the Mandukya Upanishad. And I said, yes, let's do that. But I didn't know then how difficult it had to be to experience this. It doesn't mean that my experience is always in my body now. It means that I have experienced things once, and now I have to do the work. So this is the beauty of all these the therapies that goes so deep and open your consciousness. It's like opening a door that you understand it's possible and things are possible. But then you need to do your daily practice and your daily routines. Because when we don't, there is an abuse of the plant, of the ayahuasca medicine. And that plant will leave the earth if we are not conscious. And it will leave the earth because we humans tend to abuse things that come into our lives. And the protectors of this medicine, they are mostly careful to bring this knowledge to us, but we need to do the practice. And my teacher, she is the grandmother of ayahuasca, and she's been in several lives. And she says, well, Stina, are you sure you should talk about this? Then be very aware of that we need to protect the plant. And we need to do the daily practice. That's my experience, that if we don't do the daily practice, like doing the Ayurveda, teaching who we are, and start to live according to the nature, to our true elements inside, and to meditate, doing yoga, and maybe the fantastic Trakataya. I actually wished you to keep the light for me, so thank you. So this is how we learn our inner self, and I think that the only thing that is important is to be grateful, take care of Mother Earth, come to peace within yourself, because peace in the world cannot happen unless you are in peace with yourself. And that's the only thing we need. Yes. Okay. I have no seconds left. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Stina Andersson, for your valuable contribution and your wisdom. Thank you.